Welcome back, everybody. Matt the Matt here. Hope you're doing well. So I got a chance this weekend to check out the new John Krasinski directed film If, which stands for Imaginary Friends. It is, I think the third or maybe the fourth John Krasinski directed film. I'm a huge fan of his A Quiet Place film back in 2018. Then he did a sequel to that, A Quiet Place Part 2, in 2021. I didn't like that as much as the first one. The first one was my favorite movie in 2018, so it was a pretty high bar. Now he has a new film out, and this is more of a kids, family-friendly movie. It doesn't have to do with aliens. It has to do with, you guessed it, imaginary friends. And I was really looking forward to this. Like I said earlier, when I first saw the trailer for this movie, it reminded me of a Pixar film, but in live action. It just had that feel and that, you know, it just had that almost like a Monsters Inc., Toy Story vibe to it. And I love Monsters Inc. That's one of my favorite Pixar movies. And who doesn't love Toy Story? At least one of those films. I particularly love the third one. And then you got Ryan Reynolds in here. I mean, can't go wrong with a little Ryan. Am I right? And then you got a great voice cast in here. Steve Carell, Matt Damon, Emily Blunt, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and so on and so forth. And I like the trailer. Like, this could be a fun movie. And I also feel like we don't get that many kids movies anymore. I don't know why. I don't know. Or unless they're just on streaming. But in the theater. I mean, we got Wonka at the end of last year, the Willy Wonka movie. I really enjoyed that. And so I was like, yeah, it's summertime. This looks like a good movie. I'm going to say it right now. I don't know why the movie has only a 15% on Rotten Tomatoes. No, positives. Ryan Reynolds. What I really like about Ryan Reynolds in this movie, without giving away anything, I'm not going to spoil anything in this movie, is he's not your typical Ryan Reynolds stuff. You know what I mean by that. The funny, the jokey, comical Ryan Reynolds. He's actually pretty serious in this movie. Yes, he has a few moments of funny moments, or that smile of his, but really this is more of a serious character. And I really like that about this. And, later this year we're going to get Deadpool and Wolverine, so I think we're going to see that funnier, comical, R-rated, foul-mouthed Ryan Reynolds as Deadpool later on this summer. But here, this almost reminded me of that movie he did back in the mid-2000s. Definitely Maybe, with Abigail Breslin. I really like to see Ryan Reynolds in this playing a very different type of character than what we are used to. Also, the main actress in this movie, Kaylee Fleming, she is excellent in this movie. She's funny at times, whimsical, serious moments, a lot of some very emotional moments. She has great banter with Ryan Reynolds. Also, her grandmother in this movie, played by Fiona Shaw, who, a lot of people know Fiona Shaw from the Harry Potter movies, playing Aunt Petunia Dursley, Harry Potter's aunt. I like seeing her in the movie. And then, of course, her interaction with all the imaginary characters, especially since they're all CGI, a little bit of that Who Framed Roger Rabbit feel. I thought she did an excellent job. I actually had to go look her up and see maybe she was in The Walking Dead. She was in that Jennifer Garner film Peppermint back in 2018. But here, I didn't remember her that well. But here I was like, this is a star-making turn in this film. And she was that main hook throughout the whole film that our POV, our character, we're rooting for in some ways. And I thought she did an excellent job. John Krasinski is a very creative film. Like I said, people complain we get reboots, we get sequels, we get remakes, blah 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 blah. This is an original movie. It was written and directed by John Krasinski, and it's not based on a book or a short story. And you really see that creativeness in this film. Every imaginary creature, and there's a lot of them, has an interesting design, look, feel, voice, and then you see just the world that these imaginary friends live in, and it's so creative. You know, I love The Quiet Place, but here you really see another side of John Krasinski as a director, as a storyteller, and I thought that was great. Not to mention, you also definitely see, like I said at the beginning, that the trailer reminded me of a Pixar film, and this very, very much, you can definitely see the influences of some of the best Pixar movies. Whether we're talking Toy Story, whether we're talking Monsters Inc., whether we're talking Up. I was actually watching Up just the other day, because it's coming up on the 15th anniversary, and seeing the opening of Up, and without spoiling too much with this movie, you can definitely see John Krasinski took some inspiration from Up. And not only that, but you also, what I love about this movie is that when you, like me as a kid, when I was a kid, watching 90s family-friendly kids movies, yes, you still get that fun kid scenes, those kid moments, or those characters, whether it is in like a Toy Story, whether it is like an Up, where you have Russell, the Boy Scout, or Doug, the dog, that can talk. Yeah, you get those kid-friendly moments, but then you got those adult themes, adult moments, those moments that the adults connect with. And this movie, once again, I'm not going to spoil anything here, but you can definitely see this movie has a lot of adult moments, a lot of adult themes that people my age and adults are going to really grapple, connect with. And like me and a lot of people in the theater, a lot of us adults, a little sniffles, a little tear going down. I'll just say in the first 5 minutes of this movie, I already had the sniffles. And there are other moments in the movie. Like in Monsters Inc. This movie has a lot of influence of Monsters Inc. I'm not going to spoil, but the main character, Bluey, voiced by Steve Carell. When we first meet this character, he's in a bedroom with a little kid, and, he has this giant blue creature. It reminded me of Sully in Monsters Inc. Big, blue, furry monster. And the kid in the movie is laying in bed, and this little kid laying in bed with this giant purple monster, but he's called Bluey. And I'm like, this reminds me so much of Monsters Inc. I mean, if I said I would not be surprised if John Krasinski was inspired by Monsters Inc. for that scene. Any Pixar film has adult themes. Finding Nemo, Incredibles, like I said, Toy Story 3, Monsters Inc., Up, some of the best movies, because those are movies you can take the whole family to. The kids are going to enjoy the imaginary friends in them, the designs, the fun, the smiles. But then you got this other side of what's really going on in the movie, and the adults are going to understand, are going to feel something, are going to connect. Some of my negatives with this movie, I did think this was a smidge, it could have been a smidge shorter. It's about an hour and 45, and I think it could have easily been like a 90-minute, 95-minute movie. Without going back and watching it again to really pinpoint certain things that maybe they could have shortened or cut out completely. I thought the hour and 45, hour and 47-minute runtime could have been shorter, especially for a kids' film, more geared towards kids. And also the ending. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I will say there was a point in the ending that was a little flimsy to me. That I'm sitting there in the theater going, okay, is it this character or is it this character that our main character is dealing with? I'm very, I don't know. I don't know. Because I'm watching this movie, I'm thinking, maybe it's this character. But then there's a moment that I feel like, no, wait a minute. With the way the movie, surprises, has a few twists. I'm like, no, maybe it's this character. And that's when I felt like the movie was a little flimsy. It didn't really set a clear, stance on that. And maybe I need to watch the movie again. And maybe I'll see something that really, I understand it better. Not to mention, I think if the ending had not a happy ending, but I hate to say this, a sad ending, I think it would have been more clear. And then I think in another minor negative, the marketing of this movie. I think a lot of parents are not going to be happy with some of the adult material that this movie actually deals with, and what the overall story of this movie is. I think the trailer sells it as this kid helping Ryan Reynolds find these imaginary friends, and it's not. Overall, I thought this movie was very good. I definitely think this is another home run for John Krasinski as a writer and a director. I think the acting by Ryan Reynolds, Kaylee Fleming was excellent. The creativity that John Krasinski brought to the film was great. All the characters had their moments to shine. The movie is also very funny. I forgot to say that in the positives. The movie is very funny. There's a lot of moments I was laughing, and kids in the audience were laughing. So it does have humor. 4.5 out of 5. I thought it was a very enjoyable movie. Other than maybe being a smidge shorter, and I've been figuring out that ending of who should we care about. I think those were the only minor things I've had. I think this was a very good movie. And like for a children's movie, or a family-friendly children's movie, I think this works for the whole family. I wish we got more of these movies in the theater. And like that, I think it felt a lot like the inspiration of a Pixar film, and that's not a bad thing. Who doesn't love Pixar movies? Especially the great ones. So let me know in the comments below, did you see If? Directed by John Krasinski. Were you a fan of the movie? Were you like me? Did you think the ending needed to maybe make something more clear? Did you think the adult themes and story subplot was maybe a little too much for kids? Let me know in the comments below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment. Matt in the back.